March Madness is upon us, and with that brings the opportunity for a new team that you've never heard of to both bust your bracket and steal your heart all at the same time. And like most, I just love a good Cinderella story. But what actually makes a Cinderella team? How can we predict who's going to be the next Loyola Chicago or St. Peter's? Well, have no fear, because this video is going to break down the 3 surefire ways to find out if your team has what it takes to shock the world. And there is a common thought that the Cinderella teams are the ones that just get hot down the stretch of the season. And while often true, it doesn't tell the whole story. Data has found that a lot of teams embrace starting from scratch in the big dance. About a third of the Cinderella teams that we've seen in the past 30 years have come into the tournament with a 500 record or worse in their last 10 games. Think of it like moving to a new town or transferring to a new school. You get that fresh start, that blank slate. You can be whoever you want to be. Some embrace that and others not so much. And if you follow these 3 easy steps, you might be that first 1 in 9.2 quintillion to get that perfect bracket. Probably not, but anyways, number 1. You have to be among the elite either offensively or defensively. And by elite, we mean top 50 in KenPom rankings of offensive and defensive efficiency. And this one comes with one exemption, and that is one of my favorite Cinderella stories in Florida Gulf Coast. But the teams that really shine offensively in the tournament have really good guard play. And pair that with some kind of big who demands enough attention down low to allow open kickouts to perimeter shooters. And you have to knock down the big shots when they matter. And on the flip side, elite defense can disrupt your opponent's rhythm, which can lead to turnovers and extra possessions to capitalize on. Which leads us to the next point. You have to win the turnover battle. 85% of Cinderella teams have a positive turnover margin over the course of the tournament. And this is pretty self-explanatory. When you're already going up against a team with better coaches, players, resources, etc., you have to control your controllables and take advantage of any slip up that your opponent offers. Plus, turnovers lead to fast breaks and easy points on the other end. And finally, you really want a team that's led by upperclassmen. All of these aren't mind-blowing, it's mostly common sense when you get down to it. To grind out high-level play over an extended period of time, you need experienced leadership to get you through runs from the other team, or just keeping up belief going into the second weekend. So when looking at all of these random conference winners, these automatic berths, look for a team that can be elite on either one end of the court, a team that takes care of the ball, and a team led by upperclassmen, and you may have all the makings of a winner. But all this data was taken up until 2019, and a lot of this information was sourced by Brian Mole from NCAA.com, which begs the question, has this data held up since then? Well, let's take a look. There have been 4 Cinderella teams since 2019, and we're defining Cinderella as an 11 seed or higher. Or is it lower? Worse than an 11 seed. And those teams were 2019 Oregon, 2021 Oral Roberts, and 2022 St. Peter's and Iowa State. In 2019, Oregon had the 74th ranked offense, but the 13th ranked defense. They held every opponent to under 55 points, including the eventual champs Virginia, who had the second best offense in the tournament. And they were led by junior Peyton Pritchard, senior Paul White, and freshman Lewis King. And they did win the turnover battle over the course of the tournament, narrowly losing to Virginia in the end. Moving on to 2021 Oral Roberts, this team was 66th in offense and 219th in defense, so just narrowly missing the cut, but close enough. And they definitely took advantage of turnovers. They were plus 10 to take down the 2 seed Ohio State, plus 8 versus Florida, and plus 3 in a narrow loss to Arkansas, 72-70. And they were led by redshirt junior Kevin O'Banner and sophomore guard Max Asmus. And in 2022 we have Iowa State, who is ranked 171st in offense, but number 5 in defense. And they took down LSU with a plus 9 turnover margin. They were plus 3 versus Wisconsin, but they held them to 30% field goal percentage and just 9% from 3. And they were minus 4 to Miami, eventually losing. And this team was led by stellar guard play by senior Gabe Kalsher, Isaiah Brockington, and freshman Tyrese Hunter. And last but certainly not least, St. Peter's. Honestly, one of the Cinderellas of all Cinderellas. This team was 231st in offense, but they were 25th in defense. Insanely, they were -2 against Kentucky, but shot an amazing 53% from 3, a +2 versus Murray State, and a +7 versus Purdue. It seemed like they mucked up the games enough to just grit out a win. And of course, led by a plethora of upperclassmen: Doug Edbert, Daryl Banks III, Casey Ndefo, and Hassan Jame, who, when watching him, reminds you exactly of Draymond Green. So looking at all these teams, the criteria holds up pretty well. But at the end of the day, who the hell knows what's gonna happen? All we can be certain of is it will in fact be madness the second that first tip-off goes up. So enjoy every second of it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.